welcome to another Top 5 stream with True Nerdgasm. I'm here with MunkyChong Gaming.
Hello, hello.
And we are going to do some of this stuff for Destiny. That's the new DLC has came out this week. And our top 5 for the week is Marvel villains.
Oh yeah.
Buck, did you have was it easy or hard to come up with your tops on this one?
It was a little difficult because I'm not very knowledgeable on Marvel, which I found out upon trying to make my list. But I made it.
For me, it wasn't that I was not knowledgeable, it was the fact that there's so many good villains in Marvel. Like, Marvel's got good villains, but they, in my opinion, they lack in heroes. We will start this off. Number 5. Who is your number 5?
My number 5 is Sandman, a Spider-Man villain. I find it fascinating that, you know, his entire body is pretty much made up of grains of sand, and he can will every single grain that he wants to do whatever he wants. He's got incredible strength. He can control the density of his body. He can shapeshift. I did read in my research that he can generate some glass, apparently.
I've spotted another Cabal mining expedition.
And he can convert sand around him into his body to change his size and replenish any that he may have lost. He can even make clones of himself, which is pretty cool, and wall crawl, like his foe Spider-Man.
Alright, and we got him as a live action. Partial live action version.
True.
I trust your
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, which honestly is the worst Spider-Man movie to date.
Yeah, I wasn't really happy with that myself.
But we still got him. My number 5 is none other than the ugly Nazi Red Skull. With Red Skull, I mean, granted, he is a Nazi, but I'm still ranking him this high on it as like the best villain due to the fact of, you know, he's Captain America's arch, pretty much tried to take over the world. He created Hydra. I mean, he's done so much for Marvel in itself that it's crazy not to have him this high up.
Right.
I mean, you know, we could probably rank him maybe a little bit higher for uglier villains, but he's my number 5.
Alright, I feel you.
Alright, so number 4.
My number 4, I'd have to go with another Spider-Man villain, Carnage. He has strength greater than Power Man and Venom combined. He can shapeshift, and he pretty much has the same abilities as Spider-Man and Venom. There's not much I can say that would be different from either one of those two.
Alright.
Plus, he just looks cool.
He does. He does. Alright, my number 4 is Thanos.
Alright.
The big bad for the new Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. He's controlled the Infinity Gauntlet, pretty much wiped out the entire universe. I mean, he's extremely smart. And he's brutal, he's got strength. That's why he's number 4 on my list.
Alright. I can see that.
Alright, so number 3.
Number 3, I finally started dipping into different genres or stories from Marvel. I went with, at least my understanding, the first mutant Apocalypse.
Yet another devastating blow to their morale.
He has possibly limitless powers. incredible strength. He can also shapeshift. Telepathy, flight, speed. He's genius. He's tactical.
By the way, I'm going to fire base Hades.
Alright. He has incredible will, and he's good at melee combat.
Okay. I do like him, and we got him in X-Men Apocalypse,
yeah,
which is a great movie. I don't care what anybody else says. They done a very good job, and they gave us a little taste. They gave us a little taste of what Apocalypse can do. I think they could have made him look a lot stronger, but they did pretty well for what they gave us. My number 3 is Venom.
I like Venom.
With Venom, I mean, the symbiote, black suit, violent, and the first Venom, Eddie Brock, the Venom, the symbiote actually stopped the cancer from that he had. And later on, he eventually became the anti-Venom. But Venom himself is a very violent character, pretty smart character, and gave Spider-Man a run for his money every time they met.
Right.
And he's done some good in the comics, but he's mainly a villain. And just with the amount of stories that we've gotten with him, that's why he's my number 3. Alright, so number 2.
My number 2 is somebody I don't know a whole lot about. Only recently finding out about him in the recent movie. But is Dormammu. He has all kinds of sorcery powers. He can banish whoever he wants out of his realm. I mean, he's godlike. Basically, he is a god. He can transport between dimensions, flight, transformation, control elements. There's just a lot that he can do. He can do almost anything, really.
Alright. My number 2 was on your list a little earlier, but Apocalypse. The first mutant. He gave us the 4 horsemen. He pretty much can destroy worlds. I mean, if he would have got away with it, the world would have been a lot more like him. Extremely powerful. I mean, the reason Storm and them got so powerful in the movies is because of the gifts that because of the extra power that he gave them. I mean, he can give his powers to other people. He's basically immortal because he transfers his life force to other beings. I mean, you gotta have him top high on the list.
True.
He's that powerful. Alright, so that was my number 2. Now we can do our honorable mentions.
My first honorable mention is one that you have already mentioned, which is Venom. So, I mean, there's not really much that I can say that you haven't already said. The only reason I didn't put him in my list was because I figured Carnage kind of overpowered him. So I left Carnage up there instead of Venom. Abomination. He has strength, stamina, durability, healing, and Loki, who is a god, or a demigod, however you want to think about it. But he's got the strength, stamina, speed, durability. He's immune to diseases. He's brilliant. He's a magic user, and he's good at manipulation and shapeshifting.
All right. My honorable mentions are Doc Ock, which we got him a little taste of him in Spider-Man 2, which is my favorite Spider-Man movie. pretty much a genius that pretty much transformed, you know, gave himself the arms and just went nuts. I mean, but he's still extremely brilliant. Gave us some of the best Spider-Man stories. Loki, so we both agree that he's high in terms of Marvel villains, just not top 5 material.
Yeah, definitely.
My third one is Galactus.
Galactus.
Yes, Eater of Planets.
Hit them where it hurts.
Extremely powerful. He destroys planets. He gave us one of the best weapons as in terms of strength of weapons in the Nullifier, or the Ultimate Nullifier. I mean, he pretty much gave Silver Surfer a little bit of extra stuff and let him go all over the world, or all over space trying to hunt down planets. I mean, just the story alone with the Silver Surfer gives him a spot, at least as an honorable mention.
True. Alright.
Alright, so those were my honorable mentions. Who do you have as your number one?
My number one came in on your list at an earlier number, which is Thanos. I mean, you know, there's everything that you mentioned about him. He's an Eternal. He's strength, endurance, reflex. But one thing that stands out about him to me is his pretty much his main sole purpose is to find greater power. That's pretty much it. He's not necessarily about taking over everything. He's about finding the greatest power that he can find, but he don't mind taking out anybody to get to that power.
Alright. My number one was on your list, but a little lower, and that is Carnage.
Right on, right on.
The reason he is my number one compared to lower on my list is when you look at a villain, you look at, you know, mass damage, what he's done. And yes, Thanos has destroyed the entire universe.
You know what I say
But when we look at like street level style superheroes,
and you do them with style.
Carnage comes into terms as when we talk about their villains. Carnage will rampage through the entire city, killing everything just because he wants to.
True. Very true.
He's got the strength, he's got like healing, I mean, endurance. I mean, him alone he gives Spider-Man a run for his money every time. And he gives Venom a run for his money. And to me, what makes a villain is, you know, which villain makes it uneasy to watch. And when you read anything with Carnage in it, him killing everything just makes everything very uneasy.
True. He does live up to his name.
He does. He leaves nothing but carnage. Alright. That is our top 5 for the week. We will be back next week for another top 5, and we will be knocking down the top 5 Marvel heroes. Other than that, this Sunday at 8 p.m. we will be able to see the second semifinals of the Nerd Out, which we will see who will be headed to who our second person headed to the finals will be. And following that, we will be having our finals within the next week or two after that. Monk, do you have anything to plug from your channel?
You can always come to my channel and watch streams of the top 5, and there's also the pros and cons I do with Kita, but the link to mine is in the description below.
Alright. Now remember, make sure you come back and check out True Nerdgasm throughout the week. We will be posting other videos along with our third person occasionally here who's got a green name. He will be making his debut on my channel here very, very soon. But other than that, we will see you guys next time.
Bye.